Good morning and welcome to New Hanover County Schools The Morning Show. I'm Johanna Carey.
And I'm Julia Narvaez Munguia. This is the week of September 23rd through September 29th, and this is our first show of the year.
We hope everyone has had a fantastic summer. Now school is underway and we got past our yearly hurricane interruption. Now we're all back in the swing of things.
We're excited about our new season of shows, which includes new features, new news, and always tons of new fun.
This year we are bringing back some of our old favorites, like Student Voices and The Buzz. We also have some exciting new segments, including a feature on student volunteers and an educational segment on our federal government agencies.
As always, we will also bring you the weekly school lunch menu, upcoming events, and our fan favorite long-running series, This Week in History.
It is going to be another amazing segment and exciting season of the morning show, so be sure to tune in every morning here on the Learning Network.
And yet another great feature of the morning show are the news stories from our sister show, Your School News. The third member of our team this week is our news anchor, Rocco Celerino.
That's right, he is standing by right now with our first look at the morning news headlines. Good morning, Rocco.
Good morning, Joanna and Julia, and welcome everyone to Your School News here on the morning show. Topping the headlines this week, the New Hanover County Board of Education holds their monthly meeting. Cottington celebrates International Literacy Day and with guest readers, and NC Department of Transportation donates school supplies to aldermen. I will have all those stories and more coming up later on the show.
Thanks, Rocco.
Now we love to start your day off with a smile. Years ago, we did this successfully with our Joke of the Week segment. NHCS TV is in the process of creating new episodes, so look for the return.
In the meantime, that task falls on us, your show hosts.
It does?
It does. So without further ado, why did the sun go to school?
I don't know why.
To get brighter, of course.
Okay, hopefully those new Joke of the Week segment will be done sooner rather than later.
One more before we move on.
Let's hear it.
A mom asked her kids what they learned in school today. They replied, "Not enough. We have to go back tomorrow."
That's a good one.
Now that everyone is laughing hysterically, it's time for a sample here on the morning show, This Week in History.
Our Grandmaster of Historical Knowledge has all the headlines from the past times in This Week in History.
Welcome to This Week in History, covering all the colorful and amazing events that have left their mark on history's timeline. This is the week of September 23rd through September 29th. September 23rd, 1806, amid much public excitement, American explorers Meriwether Lewis and William Clark returned to St. Louis, Missouri from the first recorded overland journey from the Mississippi River to the Pacific coast and back. The Lewis and Clark expedition had set off more than 2 years before to explore the territory of the Louisiana Purchase. September 24th, 622, the Prophet Muhammad completes his hijrah, or flight, from Mecca to Medina to escape persecution. In Medina, Muhammad set about building the followers of his religion, Islam, into an organized community and Arabian power. The hijrah would later mark the beginning of the Muslim calendar. September 25th, 1957, under escort from the U.S. Army, 9 black students enter an all-white Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. It was a key moment in the integration of public schools. September 26, 1995, U.S. astronaut Shannon Lucid returns to Earth in the U.S. space shuttle Atlantis, following 6 months in orbit aboard the Russian space station Mir. She was the first American woman to live in a space station. September 27, 1869, Ellis County Sheriff Wild Bill Hickok is too wild for Kansas when he responds to a saloon brawl in Hays City. When he arrived and ordered the men to stop, Wynn turned to attack him, and Hickok shot him in the head, killing him. Shortly afterwards, he was voted out as sheriff. Finally, your weekend history tidbits. September 28, 48 BC, upon landing in Egypt, Roman general and politician Pompey is assassinated on the orders of King Ptolemy of Egypt. The Egyptian king feared Caesar, Pompey's rival, and plotted the assassination to gain favor. September 29, 1918, after a 56-hour-long bombardment, Allied forces breached the so-called Hindenburg Line, the last line of German defenses on the Western Front during World War I. That's This Week in History, your ultimate source for those key moments in time. Thanks for stopping by.
And join us again next time for another journey through time as we explore the fun, fascinating, entertaining, and educational facts that make up This Week in History.
We have plenty more of the morning show ahead, including a special recycling video produced by students at Ogden Elementary.
As we head to break, we have the word of the week. Each week we highlight an advanced English word, so when you use them in a sentence, you can impress even educated speakers. If you like having an extensive and impressive vocabulary, try learning our word of the week.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
I'm a bus driver.
I'm a bus driver.
I'm a bus driver.
Wouldn't you like to be a bus driver too?
New Hanover County Schools is now hiring individuals to be a part of our elite core of school bus drivers.
That's right. You can work full-time, part-time, or serve as a substitute bus driver.
New Hanover County Schools offers competitive wages, flexible hours, and state benefits.
Best of all, you get to work with the greatest kids in the world.
We need you!
Contact us today to join the next free commercial driver's license class.
New Hanover County Schools is an equal opportunity employer.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Johanna Carey.
And I'm Julia Narvaez Munguia.
We now have snapshots, where we take quick looks at some of the positive things going on around our school systems.
From fun projects to school-wide events to guest speakers and fabulous field trips, there are so many great things for our schools to celebrate.
Students at Snipes Academy had an out-of-this-world Skype experience. They participated in a live question and answer session with astronauts aboard the International Space Station. They were amazed to see firsthand what life is like in outer space.
Board of Education Chair Lisa Estip, member Bill Rivenbark, and NC Superintendent Mark Johnson visited community members at Blair Elementary School at Blair Emergency Shelter during Hurricane Dorian.
Freshman honors marine science students at Isaac Bear Early College got hands-on experience identifying the different types of fish in the marsh at Fort Fisher. The field trip was a great way to take learning outside the classroom and into the real world.
Students at Mary C. Williams Elementary School were thrilled when Enterprise Rent-A-Car stopped by to donate school supply packs to the students. Students received a bag full of back-to-school goodies.
Myrtle Grove Gators wore purple in support of epilepsy awareness. The school is helping to support students and staff members with epilepsy, and the Great Day of Purple was a great start.
Parents at Carolina Beach Elementary attended a kindergarten orientation program with stations to make special notes for their child and a survival kit to take home. It was all designed as a way to reassure and involve them in their child's first year of school.
Deputy K9 Bain reported for duty with New Hanover County Sheriff's Schools Resource Officer as the new school year begins. Deputy Bain will support the SROs in the school throughout the county.
Custodians and maintenance crews worked hard to get school ready for students and staff after the Hurricane Dorian aftermath. Thank you to all of the employees and volunteers for your dedication.
And that's this month's Snapshot, our quick looks at some of the positive things going on around our school systems.
Those were great. I really hope to see Deputy Bain at our school this year, though I'll have to resist the urge to pet him.
Yes, and I like the idea of survival kits for the new parents. Good thinking, Carolina Beach Elementary.
It's time for our morning news. Let's send it over to Rocco Salarino, who has several interesting stories to report.
Good morning and welcome to your school news on the morning show. I'm Rocco Salerno. Our top story this week, the New Hanover County Board of Education held their regular monthly meeting on Tuesday, September 10th at the Board of Education Center. With the board notes is YSN reporter Johan Yellow.
The Board of Education meeting for September 10th was packed up with a lot of new information. Let's get right to the board notes. The meeting kicked off with recognition of achievement. The audience heard from community partner One Love Tennis. They provided a presentation and a video on an exciting project happening right here in Wilmington. Then New Hanover High School played their Spotlight video. This showcased the school's special programs and activities that makes the school unique. And to wrap up recognition of achievement, the 2019 Educators of the Year were recognized. That was followed by administrative recommendations and interim administrator recommendations. Nelson Bowyer then gave a Head Start liaison report and a monthly expenditure report to the board. Information for the month included a presentation on inclusive hiring. A transportation update was given where the bus driver shortage was discussed in detail. Information on policy 1234, board committee representation and appointments was discussed. Proposed makeup days from Hurricane Dorian, as well as the employee leave policy, which was explained and how it was affected and applied to Hurricane Dorian, was also discussed for information. That was all followed by the superintendent's report and the board chairperson's report. Committee reports included Equity and Inclusion Committee report, while consensus items consisted of personnel and change of school assignments. Moving on to old business. The only item on the agenda was Dustin's Greenhouse, which was approved by the board. When it comes to new business, all of the following were approved. A grant easement distribution with Piedmont Natural Gas Company, NC Works Career Coach Program Memorandum of Understanding, and Capital Project for Mobiles. The next regular Board of Education meeting will be held Tuesday, October 1st at 5:30 p.m. at the Board of Education Center, 1805 South 13th Street. And as always, if you can't make it to the meeting in person, you can watch the telecast live here on New Hanover County Schools TV or tune in for the rebroadcast. Reporting for your school news, this is Johan Yellow.
The North Carolina Department of Transportation recently stopped by Alderman Elementary to donate school supplies, from book bags to pencils. More than 1,000 supplies were donated in all. The kids walked in with huge smiles on their faces as they saw all of the gifts waiting for them in the cafeteria. Eddie Anderson from NHCS senior staff was also on hand to join in on the event. NC-DOT engineer Karen Collett says she's glad that they were able to stop by and donate the supplies.
I've never been involved in one where you actually go out to the school, you put it in the bucket at work and that's it. But it was an eye-opener to see the children and the smiles on their faces as they collected the items.
There's a lot going on at C-Tech High School already this year. They have a new building, added another grade level to the school, and expanded the courses. To add to the excitement, students taking civics courses at school had a visit from Wilmington Mayor Bill Saffo.
In my civics class, I assigned my students a local political figure, a state political figure, and a federal political figure to basically follow throughout the year and report on occasionally on what they're doing, things that they're doing. And one of our students, Jason, drew Mayor Saffo as his local official, and so he contacted him by email, got a very quick response back from the mayor, and one thing kind of led to another, and the mayor decided to, he thought it would be a great idea to come and meet with our kids.
Mayor Saffo was greeted by Jason, the student who contacted him, as well as a group of journalist students. They recorded a short interview with the mayor before he met with the civics classes. They asked him about his background and motivations for becoming mayor. After the interview, C-Tech civic classes filled the room. Mayor Saffo talked in depth about his role as mayor. He covered some of the top topics going on in the community now and shared his views on the involvement with each topic. Things like traffic, the growing population, and railroad realignment were all discussed. He also talked to the group in detail about his day-to-day job and how he asked to work with the rest of the city council. Students asked questions freely, and Mayor Saffo answered each one. The visit was very informative for the students, and then the students not only learned about the mayor's role, but also had a lot about the issues facing our area and what is being done to address them. For all of the latest New Hanover County Schools, join us weekdays at 5 p.m. here on the Spectrum Cable Channel 5 and Channel 191 on Carolina Beach. for your school news. A complete half hour of all the latest school news and information from New Hanover County Schools. Now back to our hosts.
All right, it's now time for this week's lunch menu. This is the menu for Monday, September 23rd through Monday, September 29th. On Monday, September 23rd, have a fantastically good time. At lunch, enjoy some scrumptious barbecue pork, creamy chicken Alfredo, or a pleasing Italian hoagie. Along with those tasty treats, enjoy a tasty dinner roll, hush puppies, great garden peas, tomato and cucumber salad, diced peaches, and cool coleslaw.
Then, on Tuesday, September 24th, your tummy will yell yummy as you order a crispy buffalo chicken pizza, chicken and waffles, or an awesome Salisbury steak. Continue the explosion of flavor with side items of beautiful brown rice, carrots, mashed potatoes, and delicious diced pears.
On Wednesday, September 25th, get your grub on with mouth-watering cheeseburger, chicken teriyaki, or a hot dog served with chili. While contemplating the decisions, go ahead and get the side items of brown rice, exquisite corn, tater tots, and an Arctic fruit cup, or coleslaw.
On Thursday, September 26th, race to the lunch line for a steamy beefy fajita, a deluxe chicken sandwich, or a magnificent macaroni and cheese. Stay healthy by piling on Spanish rice, a tasty sweet potato, lima beans, and yummy mandarin oranges.
Then, on Friday, September 27th, have a nice school-cooked meal of flippin' fish fillet sandwich, nachos grande with cheese, or a splendiferous roasted chicken. The fun continues as you add brown rice, black beans, delightful broccoli, and mixed fruit to your plate.
Finally, on Monday, September 30th, battle your midday hunger by enjoying either chicken tenders, an enticing grilled cheese sandwich, or a pasta with meat sauce. Side items include garlic knots, green beans, scrumptious sweet potato buffs, tomato and cucumber salad, and diced peaches.
And there you have the lunch menu for the week. In addition to those items, milk, a garden salad, fresh fruit, French bread pizza, and a peanut butter and jelly combo will be available daily.
So many delicious choices. Don't forget you can also start your day off with a healthy and hearty breakfast at school.
Reading the lunch menu always makes me hungry.
There are a lot of good menu items there. It's hard not to get hungry.
Speaking of good things, there's more good things to come on today's show, including our Did You Know?
Be sure to keep it tuned here. We'll be right back.
Hey, Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
I'd love to, but I'm pretty busy with all this.
Yeah. Hey, let's meet our retirement coach, Avo. A is for taking action.
Not anxiety?
No, Kevin, you're gonna be fine.
You sing?
Barely. V is for variety.
And you dance?
Sort of. Come on. O is for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice.
Thanks.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Johanna Carey. Monday, September 23rd is the official day of fall. To help you learn a little more about this season of the year, we have a special segment containing fun facts and information. Enjoy.
This year, the autumnal equinox falls on September 22nd at approximately 10:21 a.m. This is known in the Northern Hemisphere as the first day of fall. Fall and the other seasons are determined by how our planet orbits the sun and the tilt of its axis. On the autumnal equinox, day and night are each about 12 hours long. The sun crosses the celestial equator heading southward, and it rises due east and sets exactly due west. Typically, fall brings nights close to freezing temperatures, combined with days of temperatures around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. During the fall season, the days start to get shorter and the nights get longer. Fall is most known for the changing of leaves colors. In many regions of North America, the landscape explodes with vibrant colors of red, yellow, and orange. The leaves begin to drop off the trees, providing endless hours of jumping into leaf piles for kids and raking them back up for parents. As plant life becomes dormant, many animals begin to prepare for the winter by storing food in their nests and dens or fat on their bodies. Some animals will also begin to grow warmer coats to prepare for the cold weather. Historically, autumn is the time of harvest for people who worked and depended on farming to survive. Autumn was even called harvest in the 1500s because this is when the fruits and vegetables were ready to be picked and stored for the winter. Fall is also when the baseball season hits the home run stretch, while the football season just starts warming up. New television shows premiere in the fall, and the new season of returning shows begins as well. The two famous fall holidays in the United States are Halloween and Thanksgiving. Just the mention of these holidays brings images of fall to mind. Finally, here is an ode to autumn. This is October's Party by George Cooper. October gave a party, the leaves by hundreds came, the chestnuts, oaks, and maples, and leaves of every name. The sunshine spread a carpet, and everything was grand. Miss Weather led the dancing, Professor Wynne the band. The chestnuts came in yellow, the oaks in crimson dressed. The lovely Mrs. Maple in scarlet looked their best. All balanced to their partners, and gaily fluttered by, the sight was like a rainbow new fallen from the sky. Then in the rustic hollow, at hide and seek they played. The party closed at sundown, and everybody stayed. Professor Wynne played louder, they flew along the ground, and then the party ended in jolly hands around.
We hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about the fall season.
Be sure to enjoy your time outside in the cooler weather before the cold of winter sets in.
At the end of last school year, 2 Ogden Elementary students created a video on how to make a reusable bag from an old t-shirt as part of their Genius Hour project. In the video, they share a few statistics about negative effects of plastic bag and show us exactly how to make the reusable bags. We are sharing their video with you today, so if you have some old t-shirts, pay attention to how you can put them to good use.
How about we ditch the plastic bags and make reusable ones? It's a great way to reuse old t-shirts, and did I mention it's fun?
All you need is an old shirt and some scissors to make an awesome reusable bag.
Before we show you how, let's talk about why we don't want to use plastic bags.
It takes plastic bags anywhere from 15 to 1,000 years to break down. That's just one bag. Think of all the other bags that end up in the trash and eventually the landfill, and even worse, the ocean.
An estimated 1 million birds, 100,000 turtles, and countless other sea animals die each year by eating plastic. The animals confuse floating bags and plastic particles for edible sea life such as jellyfish and plankton.
Hopefully you now understand our mission and will make a switch from plastic bags to reusable bags.
This is how you make a reusable bag in just 4 easy steps.
Step 1 is cutting the sleeves off about an inch away from the neck seam.
Step 2 is cutting the neckline on the outside.
The third step is cutting the end of the shirt in little strips long enough that you can tie them.
final step is to tie each of the strings together in pairs. You want to make sure you tie them 2 times so that it's strong enough to hold stuff.
This process might take a while. So this is what it should look like at the end.
It should be tied evenly, and you'll notice that it gets kind of tinier when it gets at the bottom. That's because you're tying them all together. It can hold stuff such as your favorite books,
A water bottle,
and games of your choosing. It's easy to bring along with you because it's a shirt, so you can fold it.
and that is how you make a reusable bag out of an old t-shirt.
Thank you, Catherine and Sophia, for that awesome video. That was great. Information and a perfect project for kids to do at home on a rainy day.
How fun would it be to see everyone checking out of stores with t-shirt bags?
That would be so fun to see. We'd also like to thank Miss Ginny Leeds at Ogden for sending in the video.
Last year, we added a new segment to our morning show lineup from our friends at the National Science Foundation. It's titled 4 Awesome Discoveries. In it, we get a quick look at recent new discoveries and learn about some great information about each one.
Some of the things being invented these days, well, awesome. Let's take a look.
We're back with 4 awesome discoveries for World Oceans Day.
This ocean study is really making waves. Starting small, then cranking it up, researchers simulated increasing wave heights to see how much better elevated buildings hold up to different amounts of storm surge. Not surprisingly, elevating the same structure let waves pass through a building, increasing the chances it weathers the storm. But how much do you have to elevate a home? How much could that save in potential damages? The test's goal was to collect data to improve computer models, which could lead to building designs that are more resilient to storm surges or a tsunami.
Seagrass could be key to protecting coastlines vulnerable to erosion. Researchers tested artificial seagrass to study how the plants reduce wave energy under various real-world conditions. They created computer models that predict just how large and dense a seagrass meadow needs to be to prevent beach erosion. Important info for communities looking at seagrass restoration projects that could be expensive. Seagrass also protects seawalls, improves water quality, even sequesters carbon. Now that's some kind of grass.
Endangered North Atlantic right whales are getting harder to protect because they're showing up in unexpected places. Researchers determined that deep waters in the Gulf of Maine have warmed rapidly, up to 9 degrees Fahrenheit in certain places and seasons. That reduces the supply of the whale's main meal, a rice-sized crustacean. Searching for food outside protected areas could mean more encounters with ships and fishing gear. But researchers say with more data and computer models, conservation efforts could keep up with the changes.
A coral microbiome study with somewhat of a surprise ending. Researchers looked at 3 of the main stressors facing corals: rising temps, pollution, and scarring from things like fish bites. They were surprised to find 2 stressors did not result in twice the stress. In fact, sometimes there was less effect from 2 stressors than from 1. But 3 stressors, especially higher temps, dramatically impacted coral microbial health. The takeaway? Any pollution solution forming should also include seawater warming.
And there you go. See you next time with 4 more awesome discoveries with funding from NSF.
Those were some interesting discoveries. With the way we are getting hurricanes lately, those first 2 could really apply to our area.
Yes, anything to help against beach erosion and storm surge would be welcomed in our area.
And if you found that segment interesting, keep it tuned to our channel for Science 360, an hour-long show from the National Science Foundation featuring a host of science news and information.
We head to break with our new modern music bumper. These quick looks and listens of the musicians of our time were created this summer by NHCS intern Dylan Roberts.
We'll be right
Wish I
back.
found some better sounds no one's ever heard. I wish I had a better voice that sang some better words. I wish I found some chords in an order that is new. I wish I didn't have to rhyme every time I sang. I was told when I get older all my fears would shrink, but now I'm insecure and I care what people think.
My name's Blurry Face and I care what you think.
A Dog's Way Home is the story of the extraordinary lengths a dog will go to in order to get back to their family. Every year, millions of dogs and cats end up in shelters and rescue groups. We found our Bella at a shelter in Tennessee. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover they're all pure love. Adopt pure love and help a shelter pet find their way home at theshelterpetproject.org.
Good morning and welcome back to the morning show. I'm Julia Narvaez-Munguia.
And I'm Johanna Carey.
We have some great segments ahead, but first we have our Did You Know?
Did you know jellyfish do not have brains, and they don't have a heart either?
What a jellyfish does have has a very basic set of nerves at the base of their tentacles.
These nerves detect touch, temperature, salinity, and more. They can also sense chemicals in the water and maintain their balance.
Since they don't have a brain, their movements are limited and mainly depend on ocean currents to drift them.
Despite the lack of heart and a brain, jellyfish have been around for over 500 million years, making them the oldest multi-organ animal.
The bodies of jellyfish are essentially made of water and they have no bones whatsoever.
In fact, jellyfish are composed of about 95% water. If a jellyfish washed up on the beach, after a while, it would basically disappear due to evaporation.
However, if you see one on the beach, don't step on or touch a dead jellyfish, as they can sting you.
And that was our Did You Know?
Now we bring you an updated special segment of our classic series, College Bound 411.
Historically, this series informed our viewing audience of college scholarships, which were available in our area and state.
However, this special edition is for students planning on attending college and shares tips on what they should be doing right now at the beginning of the school year before all the application processes begin.
As always, with College Bound 411, it's a good idea to be ready to take notes if college is your future or your child's future.
Here's our special fall edition of College Bound 411 starring Joanna.
For students entering their senior year of high school, the early fall months can be a very exciting time. Having a group of established friends as well as familiarity with their school and teachers helps seniors feel it is a good time to relax and enjoy life. It is important, however, that seniors take this time to prepare for their life after high school, and those planning on going to college continue their college preparations. Here are a few good tips for college-bound students, which can be done early in their senior year. Tip number 1, continue to visit schools. Fall is a great time to look at the schools on your college list because classes are in session, and you are better able to meet and talk with students and professors. You may even be able to sit in on a class or two. Tip 2 is to finalize your college list. Use the information you've gathered from the college visits, interviews, and your own research to decide which schools you will apply to. It's okay to apply to colleges that you think will be more difficult to get into, but it's also important to put a few safety schools where you're sure you will get into on your list. Talk to counselors, teachers, and parents about your final choices. Tip number 3, stay on track with your grades and extracurricular activities. Colleges will look at what you've done in your senior year, so stay focused on doing well in your classes and maintaining a commitment to extracurricular activities. Tip 4, take standardized tests. Register for and take the SAT, SAT, or SAT subject tests as necessary. Be sure you have requested that your test scores be sent to the colleges of your choice. This is also a good time to take these tests a second time if you took them during your senior year. Tip 5, keep track of deadlines. You'll be filling out lots of forms this year, so it's important to know what forms are due. Make a calendar showing the application deadlines for admission, financial aid, and scholarships. Tip number 6, ask for letters of recommendation. Give letter of recommendation forms to the teachers you have chosen, along with stamped addressed envelopes so your teachers can send them directly to the colleges. Be sure to fill out your name and addresses and the school name on each form. Discuss your goals and ambitions with your teachers so they'll be more prepared to write about you. Tip 7, meet with your guidance counselor. Your counselor can help you stay on track with admission requirements. Make sure they know which colleges you want transcripts, school reports, and letters sent to. Give your counselors any necessary forms much earlier than the actual deadlines, so they'll have time to send the forms in. Tip number 8, complete applications. Finish the application forms in the schools you're interested in. Proofread them and make extra copies before you send them. Make sure you and your guidance counselor office has sent all the necessary materials, including test scores, recommendations, transcripts, and application essays. You should plan to get all of this done before winter break, so you won't be rushing to make deadlines. Tip number 9, continue your scholarship search. Apply for scholarships whose deadlines are approaching and keep searching for more scholarships and grants opportunities. Using online scholarship search tools is a great way to find potential aid. Ask colleges about what scholarships you may qualify for. The downtime after applications have been sent is a great time to focus on financial aid. And our final tip, number 10, think about your future. The fall is a great time to think about what you want out of your college experience. What areas interest you, and what possible majors could you choose? Are there any extracurricular activities you would like to participate in while you're at college? Where do you see yourself in 1, 5, and 10 years? Spending time thinking about your future will help set you on a path that will make you happy. College preparation is very important and can save you lots of time and stress. We hope these tips will aid you in eliminating a spring semester crunch and missing any deadlines which may affect your college career.
That was a lot of great information. Thank you, Joanna.
You're welcome.
We hope everyone realizes the importance of preparing for college early on and not to waiting until the last minute.
Even though fall is here and it's getting a little cooler outside, it's still a good time to enjoy nature. Our friends from Cape Fear Garden Club continue to provide us with wonderful information and tips in their segment, Gardening in Nature. In this new episode, host Barbara Downing takes us to the Stanley Reeder Carnivorous Plant Garden to teach us about the Venus flytrap.
Good morning. This morning we're here at the Stanley Reeder Carnivorous Plant Garden, and I am joined here at Gardening in Nature by Jessica Blake, Director of Stewardship and Community Conservation for the North Carolina Coastal Land Trust. You want to give a little bit of background on that?
Sure. Thank you. I'm glad to be here with you today. I'm with the Coastal Land Trust, and we're a regional land trust. We cover 31 counties in the coastal plain of North Carolina. Since our founding in 1992, we've protected almost 80,000 acres, including the Stanley Reeder Carnivorous Plant Garden. And we also do environmental education and curricula that incorporate the longleaf pine savanna, pollinators, and of course carnivorous plants, because we're so lucky to have them on our properties.
So great. Well, we're here because of the Venus flytrap. And it's something that is unique to this area because, first of all, nowhere else in the world can you find this in the wild except for about a 90-mile radius of Wilmington. And besides this area, there's also an area in Boiling Spring Lake and or Spring Lakes, and also over in the Green Swamp.
The Green Swamp and areas of the Croatan also. So this 100-mile radius, kind of 90 miles, 75, we'll hear different numbers, but basically what it means is that where we are right now, there's only a small area surrounding us that have fly traps. And it expands into South Carolina and up the coast of North Carolina, but it's right here in the coastal region of the Carolinas.
Well, they are vanishing, and there's probably about 3 basic reasons why this is happening.
Right.
Excessive poaching, and we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Everybody doesn't quite understand all that. And developers destroying natural habitat, and fire suppression. And I think I understand that as meaning they don't burn as much as they used to.
Correct.
But the flytrap needs that.
Right. The flytrap has a lot of really fun and unique adaptations, and one of it is their fire tolerance. In the longleaf pine areas that they grow, it's a fire-dependent habitat, and so as people develop, we have less fire happening in natural areas, and without the fire, the flytrap is not able to compete for resources. Everything sort of grows up over it. So it really does need the fire to really thrive. And the problem is fire suppression. So there are times when you will see fire happening, prescribed fire, the Nature Conservancy does in the Green Swamp where there's a lot of fly traps, because at one point when humans weren't here, fire would have happened naturally all the time.
Oh, okay. 50 years ago there were 20 counties, and we're down to, your count is about now 12 counties that have the Venus flytrap, and they, you know, live in not good areas. They're boggy, they're wet, they're nitrogen deprived types of land. So they're not probably lands where people are going to grow crops or, you know, do that kind of thing. I'm not sure why.
A little bit of both. You're right. You can grow crops anywhere because you're adding fertilizer and stuff. So the nutrients deficiency doesn't always rule that out. But they only grow in these nutrient poor areas, and also that's an area still located on the coastal plain where people want to live. So development is a huge threat. Their habitat is definitely being built up.
Built up, okay. So they get the flytrap plant itself then gets its nutrients from the insects that they catch.
Right.
And I did have a picture here just to bring it a little more into focus. I don't know how many times this picture is magnified, but it gives you a little idea that if you could actually think about the idea that the fly trap itself is about the size of a quarter.
Right, right. The trap itself. I know a lot of people that have never seen fly traps just assume that they're these giant things because they've seen Little Shop of Horrors.
Right.
But they're a relatively small plant, and they have a bulb in the base under the soil, and then they grow anywhere between 4 and 7 on average leaves. And so the stalk and the trap are the leaf of the fly trap, but they're really small. They still can eat insects. Every now and then a big trap can eat a small frog, which is why they're carnivorous and not insectivorous. But they are tiny little plants that have learned to live and get food somewhere else because nature wasn't providing it in the soil.
All right. Well, I have my little puppet here, and I thought maybe we
adorable.
could use it to you could tell us how this actually happens with with the fly trap itself. And I'll let you have the bug.
All right, I'll be the fly.
You'll be the fly.
So like I said, so this is the trap. It's the leaf and the stalk. And the traps are open.
Okay.
And they're just waiting there. And they have nice coloration. They're a little shiny, so it sort of looks like nectar. It's very attractive to bugs. And there are trigger hairs inside. And so what happens is the bug says, oh, I'd like to land on this. I think it's delicious. And it hits a trigger hair. Now, it waits 30 seconds because if a pine straw flies in there, you don't want that trap to close.
Right.
So this is a super smart design plant. So it hits this trigger hair, but then it moves because it starts to stick, and it triggers the other trigger hairs. So now if it hits 2 in that 30 seconds, it's gonna close.
Right.
And then as it struggles, it closes more because it's just aggravating those trigger hairs. And once it's done, it locks all the way. And after it's hit a lot of the trigger hairs, it starts to release digestive enzymes inside there. So it's going to stay closed for about a week, and it's going to have this digestive juice come out and basically dissolve all the nutrients out of that bug and absorb it. So now it's been fed. And then when it reopens, all that's left is the exoskeleton, and it just blows away in the wind.
Oh, very fascinating, very fascinating. Thank you so much for coming out on this kind of, it's not very humid.
No, it's not.
It's not as bad as it could be.
Right,
so.
right.
And plus we have some shade here, so
Yes.
thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
All right, great. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
That was the very first part of their look at the Venus flytrap. Be sure to tune in to the morning show next week for part 2.
Okay, everyone, get your thinking caps ready because when we come back from our break, it's game time.
What challenging trivia games await us today?
Keep it tuned here to find out. We'll be right back.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision... Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah. Invent...
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
Welcome to Game Time. I'm your host, Rocco Solano. Here at Game Time, we pit two contestants head-to-head in a themed and educational contest. Fear not, though, because you at home will get to test your knowledge alongside our contestants. Meet our contestants and learn a little about our theme. Welcome to Game Time. Jonah and Julian.
Thanks, Rocco.
Today's Game Time focuses on the Constitution of the United States of America.
Constitution Day is September 17th, and we want to honor that day and our Constitution.
We have a lot of great facts and information to share with you about the founding document in a special segment.
Be sure to pay attention, as afterwards both Julia and I will complete the game and that test our knowledge of the Constitution.
And some of the answers may be in this video. Enjoy.
Constitution Day commemorates the signing of the Constitution of the United States of America. The Constitutional Convention took place in Philadelphia from May until September 1787. It is not only the oldest constitution, but also the world's shortest constitution, consisting of only 4 pages and containing only 4,400 words. The United States Constitution establishes America's national government, its fundamental laws, and guarantees certain basic rights for its citizens. It was signed on September 17, 1787, by delegates of the Constitutional Convention, which was presided over by George Washington. The original 13 states, with the exception of Rhode Island, appointed 70 delegates to the convention. However, only 55 could attend. Their mission was to revise the Articles of Confederation, which was the founding document for the Constitution. The delegates devised a plan for a stronger federal government with 3 branches: executive, legislative, and judicial, along with a system of checks and balances to assure no single branch would have too much power. Among the more debated issues was the question of state representation in the national government. Delegates from larger states wanted populations to determine how many representatives a state could send to Congress, while small states called for equal representation. The issue was resolved by the Connecticut Compromise, which proposed a legislature with proportional representation of the states in the lower house, the House of Representatives, and equal representation in the upper house, the Senate. In 1789, James Madison introduced 19 amendments to the Constitution. 10 of those amendments, known collectively as the Bill of Rights, were ratified and became part of the Constitution on December 10, 1791. The Bill of Rights guarantees individuals certain basic protections as citizens. For his contribution to drafting the Constitution as well as its ratification, Madison became known as the Father of the Constitution. There have been thousands of proposed amendments to the Constitution. However, only 17 amendments have been ratified in addition to the Bill of Rights. The most recent amendment to the Constitution was Article 27, which deals with congressional pay raises. It was proposed in 1789, but was not ratified until 1992. Today, the original Constitution is on display at the National Archives in Washington, D.C.
We hope you enjoyed learning about the Constitution. Spend a little time learning about the document that governs our country. Go online to constitutioncenter.org and you can find an interactive Constitution with all of the articles and amendments for you to see and read.
We now send it back to Rocco, who will explain the rules of our game and get things going. Rocco?
You just saw the special. Now it's time to play the game. What did you learn and what do you know about the Constitution? We are about to find out as today's trivia questions all revolve around this founding document. Julia and Joanne are our 2 contestants. As they compete in our trivia match, feel free to play along at home. Can you get the correct answers before they do? Let's find out. The rules are simple. I will ask a constitution-related trivia question. If you think you know the answer, you must buzz the first person to buzz. The first person to buzz gets an answer. If you blurt out the answer without buzzing or winning the buzz, it will not count. If you hit your buzzer before I finish reading, I will stop until you answer. If you get a question wrong, your counterpart will have a chance to answer it. Finally, if you are both stumped on one, I will give the answer and we will move on. There are 20 questions total. Okay, contestants, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. True or false? The Constitution has always guided the country. Your answers?
False.
These are true. The answer is false. Before the Constitution, the nation functioned under the Continental Congress and the Articles of Confederation. Okay. Question 2. True or false? The Constitution allows the Supreme Court to make law.
False.
The answer is false. In fact, the Constitution Articles Constitution Article 1 states, all legislative powers herein granted shall be invested into the Congress of the United States. Okay. Next question. The Constitution does not give the federal government any power in what field? A, the postal system, B, war, C, education, or D, spending.
Education.
That is correct. The answer is C, education. Okay. And our next question, question 4. What are the 3 branches of government named in the Constitution? A, legislative, executive, and judicial. B, IRS.
A.
The answer is A, legislative, executive, and judicial. Okay. Question 5. True or false? The Constitution allows the president to make law.
False.
The answer is false. Executive orders issued by the president that bind the entire nation are unlawful. Next question. Where in the Constitution is there authorization for foreign aid? A, Article 1, B, Article 2, C, Article 5, or D, nowhere is there such authorization.
B.
That is false.
Do you have a guess?
Yeah, let's go with D.
The answer is D. Nowhere in the Constitution is there authorization for foreign aid. Number 7, a true or false question. The Constitution requires a minimum age requirement for a senator.
True.
The answer is true. One must be 30 years old. What do most people consider a part of the original Constitution? A, Declaration of Independence, B, Bill of Rights, C, Magna Carta, D, alcohol and tobacco tax.
A.
That is false. Would you like to steal?
Sure, let's go with B.
B is correct. Okay. Next question, question 9. Is it true or false? The Constitution gives the federal government power to create a bank.
False.
The answer is false. The Constitution only gives the federal government power to coin money. Question 10. How many amendments to the Constitution are there? A, 28, B, 27, C, 25, or D, 14?
Oh no. I'm going to take a guess. I'll go with 27.
That is correct. There are 27 amendments to the Constitution.
All right.
Number 11, a true or false. The Constitution allows a president alone to take the nation to war.
False.
The answer is false. The Constitution states very clearly that only Congress has the power to take the nation into war. Number 12, what are the constitutional requirements for a person to be president? A, natural-born citizen, 35 years of age, has lived in the U.S. at least 14 years.
A.
The correct answer is A. To be president, you must be a natural-born citizen, 35 years of age, lived in the U.S., and be at least 14, for at least 14 years. Number 13, according to the Constitution, how can a president and other national officials be removed from office? A, fired from the Supreme Court. B, 10 million Facebook unlikes. C, impeachment. D,
impeachment.
the correct answer is C, impeachment. Officials can only be impeached in a majority House and tried by the Senate. 14. True or false? The Constitution tells us how new states are added to the Union.
False.
The answer is true. Congress has the power to do so with a majority vote in each of the houses. What authority does the Constitution give the Vice President? A. Play golf. B. Take office if the President dies. C. Break a tie in the Senate. D. Both B and C.
I think play golf is right.
D?
That is correct. The answer is D. Okay. Number 16. The Constitution does not say anything about what? A. The power of purse. B. National defense. C. Illegal immigration. And D. Copyrights.
And you said does not, right?
Does not. Yes, that is correct.
Copyright? I'm pretty sure copyright.
That is false. Would you like to steal?
Sure, let's go with C.
That is correct. Next question, question 17. The term of a president is limited by the Constitution to how many terms? A, 4, B, 8, C, 2, and D, no limit.
8, right? I swear, if it's not 8, I'm gonna actually cry. I mean like 8 years, like 8 years, like 2 terms, you know, like 2 terms.
How many terms? Not.
No, it's the same thing. 8 years is 2 terms, so it's the same thing.
How many terms?
No, it's the same thing.
No, it's
it's
how many terms, not years. Okay, so that is false. Would you like to steal?
I'm gonna guess 2 terms on this one.
That is correct. In 1951, the Constitution was amended to limit anyone to 2 terms as president.
Oh boy.
Okay. This is question 18. Which part of Congress is designated by the Constitution as having the power of the purse? A. President. B. House of Representatives. C. Senate. Or D. The Supreme Court.
Let's go with C.
That is false. Would you like to steal?
Yeah, I'll go with B.
The correct answer is B. Article 1, Section 7 states, all bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives. And question 19, which specific crimes are mentioned in the Constitution? A. Treason. B. Bribery. C. Counterfeiting and piracy. And D. All of the above.
D.
The correct answer is D. All of the above. Finally, our last question, question 20. How many times is the word democracy mentioned in the Constitution? A. 18. B. 12. C. 7. Or D. None.
7.
That is false. Would you like to steal?
I forgot the numbers, but let's go with A.
Okay. That is also false. The correct answer is D. None. In fact, America is a constitutional republic, not a democracy. A democracy ruled by the majority can be persuaded to take away freedoms and property. Under a constitutional republic, however, no such conditions exist. Okay. That's all we have for the game. That's all we have for questions. And our constitutional trivia winner is Julia. Congratulations, you have won this edition of Game Time.
Well, that does it for this edition of The Morning Show. Please friend us on Facebook. Just search for the New Hanover County's TV Schools page.
And follow us on Twitter for all the latest and most up-to-date announcements at NHCS TV. Remember, for the best TV of all, each and every day, keep it tuned right here for New Hanover County Schools TV on the Learning Network.
Have a great day.
And a wonderful week.